Hey guys, it's Adrian here, the Canadian in a t-shirt, and today I'll be breaking down how to buy US stocks in Canada. I'll go over the benefits of investing in the United States, the currency conversion factors you have to consider, the reason why you should use Questrade for US investments over something like WealthSimple, and stick around till the end where I'll do a step-by-step walkthrough on how to buy US stocks in Canada using Questrade. So why should you bother investing in US stocks? We live in Canada, we earn Canadian dollars, and we have some of the best companies to invest in right here. That's true, but the United States is by far the largest economic power in the world. The US has over 10 times the population of Canada, and its economy is well over 10 times that of Canada. Plus, most of the largest companies in the world are in the United States. If you only invest in Canadian companies, you are missing out on the largest market in the world. Another huge reason why you should invest in the US is diversification. Remember in my past video on ETFs, I stressed the importance of diversifying your portfolio. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. And so, you don't want to invest all your money in one company, one industry, or even one country. I love investing in Canadian companies, but if you look at the Canadian market, it is dominated by the financial industry, the energy sector, materials, and industrials. The US market has all of these industries, plus significantly more exposure in healthcare, consumer staples, and most importantly, technology. All of the biggest companies in the world right now are tech companies. Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Google, Facebook, and all of them are US companies. Canada's tech sector is growing, but right now, there are very few big tech players in Canada, such as Shopify and BlackBerry. Investing in the US market gives you exposure to every single industry, especially the tech sector. Whereas if you invest only in Canada, you're limited to 3 or 4 main industries. Okay, so how do we actually buy US stocks in Canada? US stocks and ETFs are traded in American exchanges, the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. And so they are traded in US dollars. If you already have US dollars, then buying US stocks is exactly the same as buying Canadian stocks in Canadian dollars. If you're using Questrade as your online broker, just follow the steps I covered in my Questrade walkthrough. Except now you're buying in US dollars, and so the commission fees will also be in US dollars. But if you're buying ETFs using Questrade, as before, you won't be charged any commission when you buy ETFs, whether you're buying them in Canadian or US dollars. So click the link in the top right to follow these steps and to learn why Questrade is my favorite online broker. So if you already have US dollars, it's really easy. But most Canadians only have Canadian dollars, so what do? Well, we're going to have to convert our Canadian dollars into US dollars to buy these US stocks, and there are 2 ways to do this. Most online brokers will automatically convert your currency when you buy a US stock, but they will charge you a currency conversion fee, which is usually around 2%. The great thing about using Questrade is that they only charge you a one-time fee of 2% when you convert your Canadian dollars into US dollars. And then for the rest of time, you can hold those US dollars in Questrade. That means that once you've converted into US dollars, you can do whatever you want with this US money. You can buy stocks, sell stocks, collect dividends, and it will always remain in US dollars. And Questrade will never charge you any fees for this. You only pay that one-time 2% conversion fee when you convert between US and Canadian dollars. This is a huge benefit of Questrade over other brokers like WealthSimple Trade. I'll be making a whole video comparing WealthSimple and Questrade very soon. And even though I think that WealthSimple is a great platform for Canadian investments, do not use WealthSimple for US investments. And here's why. WealthSimple Trade does not allow you to hold anything in US dollars. All of your cash and investments are always converted back into Canadian dollars. And every time they do this conversion, they charge you a 1.5% conversion fee. So whenever you buy a US stock, you pay a 1.5% fee. Whenever you sell a US stock, you pay a 1.5% fee. And even worse, every time you receive a US dividend, you pay a 1.5% fee. If you have a stock that pays monthly dividends, you're paying this conversion fee 12 times every year. Over the course of years, you would have paid this conversion fee hundreds of times, costing you thousands of dollars in fees to WealthSimple. Whereas if you had made the exact same investment in Questrade, you only would have paid a one-time fee of 2%. I'll go into more details on why I prefer Questrade over WealthSimple in my upcoming review, but the take-home message is this. If you really want to use WealthSimple Trade, only use it for Canadian companies. If you're investing in US companies, avoid WealthSimple and use Questrade. So using Questrade to buy US stocks is very easy. It's almost the same process as buying Canadian stocks, but with 1 or 2 extra steps. Let's say you want to invest 1,000 Canadian dollars into a US stock. Questrade will automatically convert this amount into US dollars using the US Canadian exchange rate at the end of the day. So if today 1 Canadian dollar is worth 74 US cents, then 1,000 Canadian dollars is worth 740 US dollars. But we also have to account for the 2% conversion fee. We're converting 1,000 Canadian dollars, so our conversion fee of 2% will be 20 Canadian dollars. That means that we only have $980 Canadian or 725 US dollars to invest in. Now we know our US cash amount, and the rest of the steps are very simple, and I'll go over them in just a minute. But first, I want to talk about the currency conversion fee. In this example, we invested $1,000, and so our 2% conversion fee was only $20, which isn't a lot. For most of my US trades, I'm fine with paying $10 to $20 in conversion fees. But what if you were investing $10,000 at once? Now your 2% conversion fee is $200, and that is too much. Whenever you're investing in large sums of money, over $3,000, and you want to invest in US stocks, instead of paying Questrade this 2% conversion fee, I suggest you use an advanced technique called Norbert's Gambit. Using this technique, you avoid paying any currency conversion fees, but you will have to pay up to $10 more in commission fees, and most importantly, it will take about 3 to 4 business days for your trade to execute. That's why this technique is only worthwhile for large sums of money. I don't want to get into the details of Norbert's Gambit in this video. I'll save that for a later video. But here is my overall strategy. Whenever I'm buying a small amount of US stocks, less than $1,000, I buy directly through Questrade. I pay a 2% conversion fee, but the trade happens instantly. If I'm buying a larger amount of US stocks above $3,000, then I use Norbert's Gambit to avoid paying this 2% conversion fee. But I do have to wait 3 to 4 business days for my trade to execute. If you'd like to get started with Questrade, click my referral link in the box below and you'll get $50 in commission-free trades when you sign up. That basically means that your first 10 stock trades will be commission-free. That saves you $50, plus I'll get a small referral bonus as well. So now, let's jump into a step-by-step walkthrough on how to buy US stocks in Canada using Questrade. So we start at the Questrade homepage, we click on the login button, we enter our credentials, we land on the homepage where we see a summary of our accounts, and we're going to click on the green trade button to take us to the trading platform. So I land on the balances page of my RRSP account. If I go to the top right, I can choose the different account types between my TFSA and my RRSP. In this video, I'm going to be buying US dividend stocks, which I only hold inside my RRSP. If you recall from my earlier tax video, I only hold US dividend stocks in my RRSP to avoid paying US withholding taxes. If I hold these US stocks in my TFSA, I won't be paying Canadian taxes, but I will be paying a 15% US withholding tax on these US dividends. So for this video, I'm only going to be buying these US stocks inside my RRSP. Here in my balances page, you can see that I own a combination of equity both in Canadian dollars and in US dollars. This is something that you can't do with WealthSimple. They always convert everything back into Canadian dollars. Looking at my cash amounts in the second row, I have 1,000 Canadian dollars in cash and $10.90 in US dollars in cash. Today, I'm going to buy US stocks. When I do that, I first spend whatever available US cash I have, $10, and then the remaining amount required will be converted from my available Canadian cash. So in total, my available cash to invest with is 1,014 Canadian dollars or 780 US dollars. Questrade automatically calculates the conversion for you, but just as a sanity check, let's confirm with Google. Search Canadian to US dollars. I'll enter this Canadian amount here, 1,014, and at this moment, this equals 780 US dollars, which matches the amount that Questrade gives me. So now I know that I have 780 US dollars to invest with, and I want to buy the US stock Nordstrom. Nordstrom is a luxury fashion retailer which has been expanding successfully into Canada the past few years. Their ticker symbol is JWN, so I search it here. And here I can see JWN, Nordstrom Incorporated, and it's traded on the New York Stock Exchange. So that tells me that all the numbers on this page will be in US dollars. I don't want to go into why I'm buying the stock, but real quick, it has a generous dividend yield of 3.6%. And if I go into the financials, it has a dividend payout ratio of only 35%. That's great. That means that only 35% of its profits go out to dividends, leaving 65% of its profits to grow the value of the company itself. Another good thing is that since the share price is pretty low at $40, it doesn't require very much to qualify for a DRIP. In fact, if I do a quick calculation, 40 times 40 divided by the dividend amount, which is 37 cents, that means I only need $4,324 invested in Nordstrom to qualify for a DRIP. Just so you know, I recorded this session over a month ago, before the market dropped last week. So now, the price of Nordstrom is considerably lower than what you see here, giving us a much higher dividend yield of 5.1%. Using these newer numbers, you actually only need $2,215 to qualify for a DRIP. To buy the stock, I click the green Buy and Sell button, and it brings up this panel. I already covered all of these details in my previous Questrade walkthrough, so make sure you check out that video first. Right here, I can select either a limit order or a market order. Limit order means that I select the maximum price that I am willing to buy for the stock. The trade doesn't execute unless the price reaches this limit value. I have no idea how long it will take for this to happen. So I'm going to choose market order, which means I want to buy the stock immediately, and I will pay whatever the current market price is at this moment. So I'm doing a market order in my RRSP account, and let's scroll down to confirm the amount of cash I have. I have 1,000 Canadian dollars. If I select US, I have $10.90 in US cash, giving me a grand total. I select all in USD. I have a total of 780 US dollars available to trade. So as before, I pull up my calculator, I enter my available cash, 780.73, and right off the bat, I subtract the $5 of commission that I pay when I buy stocks. In this case, I'm paying $5 US in commission. So I subtract 5, and I have $775 available to invest with. But remember, most of this cash is currently in Canadian dollars. I need to account for the currency conversion fee that Questrade charges to turn this into US dollars. For a small amount, this 2% fee will be between $10 and $20, so I'm okay with that. As I mentioned before, if I was investing with $5,000, I would use Norbert's Gambit to avoid this 2% fee, and I'll cover this technique in a later video. But for today, I want to execute the trade immediately, so I'll pay the 2% fee. After commission, I have $775 US to invest with, but I need to take away a 2% conversion fee, so I will multiply by 0.98. And you can see that I've lost about $15. That's the currency conversion fee that I pay. So now, after I've paid commission fees and the 2% conversion fee, I have $760 US to buy Nordstrom stock with. Let's scroll back up. I'll click the circle to refresh the current price. And let's see how many shares I can afford. So I will divide my available cash by the asking price, $39.90. That gives me $19.05. I can't buy a fraction of a share, so I have to round down to 19. This means I can afford 19 shares of Nordstrom. So in quantity, I enter 19 shares. I'm buying them at market price in my RRSP account. Let's click buy. This takes me to the confirmation window. And let's confirm these amounts. I want to buy 19 shares of Nordstrom at market price. In my RRSP account, it will cost me $758 US to make this trade. Plus, it will cost me a $5 US commission fee. You can see that these values are in brackets. That means negative. I click send order, and I see a pop-up confirming that my order was filled. I bought 19 shares. Let's confirm this. So let's go to account and orders. And you can see the 2 orders I executed today. Earlier today, I bought some Brookfield property, and just now, I bought 19 shares of Nordstrom at a price of $39.91 per share. Going into my positions, let's confirm that I actually own these stocks now. And I can see that I own 19 shares of Nordstrom stock. Now let's go into my balances page, and here is where things are a little different than before. When I bought Canadian stocks, I expect to see my cash amount decreased to almost zero, but in this case, I bought US stocks using Canadian cash. Now you see that I still have 1,000 Canadian dollars in cash, but I have negative 752 US dollars. You may be wondering, what's going on here? Why do I have a positive Canadian amount and a negative US amount? The way Questrade does currency conversions is that it will wait until the end of the day to convert the currency so that it is balanced with no more negative values. So at the end of the day, when the markets close, Questrade will convert the necessary amount of Canadian cash to get my US amount to zero. So tomorrow morning, I will log in and I should see that both my Canadian and US cash amounts are positive and near zero, since I spent almost all of my available cash in this trade. So now I have just logged in the next morning, and I can see that Questrade has automatically converted my Canadian cash to balance out my negative US amount. So now I have $0 in my US cash account, and I still have $17 left over in my Canadian cash account, ready to invest with next time. So there you have it. That's how you buy US stocks in Canada using Questrade. Other brokers will have a very similar process, but I definitely recommend Questrade because of their super low commission fees and conversion fees. Those fees really do add up over time. Again, if you're investing over $3,000 at once, I suggest using Norbert's Gambit to avoid conversion fees. And I'll show you exactly how to do this in an upcoming video. And again, if you want to get started with Questrade, click my referral link in the box below and you'll get $50 in commission-free trades when you sign up. Plus, I'll get a small referral bonus. Thanks for watching, guys, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. Every thumbs up and comment really does help me build this channel. And hit that bell icon to be notified of my new videos every week. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, @Canadian T-shirt, click the link in the box below or click the links on my homepage. Be sure to tune into my next video where I'll be breaking down what is an RRSP and how to invest in your RRSP to minimize your tax bill and maximize your long-term growth. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of the Canadian in a T-shirt. Bye guys.